Localization. Localization never changes. In the 80s, they localized because they were afraid kids were too dumb to understand foreign stuff. But lately, we've gotten shows like Madoka Magica, which have super faithful dubs. But leave it to the masters of repurposing Japanese stuff over at Saban to allow the editor to do to this group of teens what Jason does to this group of teens. And then stitch the whole mess back together Frankenweenie style into the Glitter Force.
Tell me honestly, is it any less ridiculous sounding than Smile Precure?
Well, no. And the edits don't really change the general idea. Basically, 5 normal middle school girls get recruited by an obnoxious stuffed animal, pixie, named Candy, to fight a cabal of fairy tale villains by collecting cheap plastic jewelry. This will somehow revive the queen of all goody-woodiness and give the world a happy ending. So anyway, the team leader is Emily, Glitter Lucky. She's optimistic, friendly, and a klutzy doofus, much like this young lady here. But Cure Happy has the additional personality trait of being a fan of fairy tales. This contextualizes her childlike personality and keeps her from becoming vapid, although she is occasionally ditzy. Next up is Kelsey, Glitter Sunny, who's the funny one, I think. She's also athletic and sporty, and she has 2 failings. 1, she overlaps with Glitter Spring, and 2, she's not funny. But to be fair, they're going for snarky, which is hard because she's not really allowed to be too mean or sarcastic.
All humor is based on cruelty.
Next up, Glitter Pansy, Peace.
No, you were right the first time.
Lily's main character trait is that she cries at the drop of a hat. And lame as that is, it's a personality. And they do a decent job making it funny. She also wants to be a comic book artist, and this differentiates her from the rest of the group. The Green Ranger is April, Glitter Spring. She's the other sporty one, and she's also like the reliable one, cause she's the emergency backup mom for her large family of younger siblings. Finally, there's their Sailor Mercury, Glitter Breeze. Kelsey's my personal favorite as the brains of the outfit, cause she actually tries to figure out problems and develop strategies. She also gets an awesome ice sword for the final fight. Personality-wise, she's super studious and classy as... Now for the bad guys. The head honcho is Emperor No-Go. He's a giant demonic clown that looks like he escaped from one of Tim Burton's less creative nightmares. His number 2 is a court jester-looking dude called Rascal, and like you'd expect, he's tricky and armed with lots of different weapons, like playing cards, swords, and non-specific rays of evil. The token female villain is Bruja. She's an old witch with the reoccurring gag of losing her evil magic knickknacks.
Irresponsible old biddy.
But in the final battle, she gets a Jessica Rabbit makeover. Next, the role of Big Dumb Henchman is filled by Brute. He's an Oni, but they keep calling him a troll. And I guess that's fine because there's not really a big difference between the two. Personally, I like him. He's got some of the funnier villain moments. Then there's Ulfric, who's the big bad wolf. He's a generic villain, but I guess he's cool.
For a furry.
Finally, every episode, one of the henchmen summons a harlequin monstrosity called a buffoon. These evil clown noses will possess some random object with no rhyme or reason. They range in size from a potted plant to the damn Tokyo Tower. Buffoons pretty much do the same thing as Power Ranger villains, with the one standout being a buffoon that makes the Glitter Force take a test. However, there are occasionally special conditions, like some buffoons are tougher, some have defensive abilities, but it all ends up with the same magic super moves. Now for the supporting cast. The main one is Candy. Candy can be annoying. She's loud, dumb, and the architect of most of her own problems. But she's also legitimately trying to help the Glitter Force, and she's cute, so as a little kid character, she's tolerable and maybe even just a little likable.
However, I personally would like to see her set on fire.
Then there's Candy's older brother, Pops. He's the only dude on the show who isn't evil or useless.
He's also under a foot tall and covered in fuzz.
He shows up mostly to convey plot information, and he occasionally helps out during fights. And every once in a while, they can even squeeze a halfway funny joke out of him. So, he's not a bad guy, but he's no Kiro Barros. Finally, the last supporting character I feel like talking about is the girl's teacher. And that's only because she's voiced by the same actress as the major, which makes me think every single class is like a long lecture on the nature of humanity. Now let's talk about the art design. Like all Precure, Glitter Force is cutesy to the max and soaked in zowie bright colors. But beyond that, it's really kinda generic, and very derivative of all the other Precure and the mahou shoujo genre in general. And I have to say that Happiness is where the Precure hairstyles got really stupid looking, with Peace and Spring being the most ridiculous, and Sunny and Breeze being halfway decent. Also, they're like the only kids at school with crazy anime hair, even in civilian mode. But on the other hand, their battle costumes are stylish and well designed. As for the bad guys, what's with all the clowns? If you're drawing from a source as rich as fairy tales, there's no excuse for every single monster of the week being one of the killer clowns from outer space. But really, all of the baddies are just there to facilitate the action. And that's where the Cures are above average, just behind the S-Class magical girls, like Madoka Magica or Cardcaptor Sakura. In addition to their special moves, the Glitter Force can dish out the punches and kicks, which puts it dead center between Toei's big guns, Sailor Moon and DBZ in terms of on-screen mayhem. But much like the Sentai formula, which it's based on, all the fights are really samey. The bad guys always attack the same general area with the same monsters over and over.
The very definition of insanity.
The girls never have to change tactics. Sure, they fly one time and they answer a pop quiz one time, but they never do anything really different. Even in the final battle, when they attack the villain stronghold, they just show up and fight the bad guys. They don't even try and sneak in. Now, I need to give them credit for having original music. It's this bright, energetic pop music that's mostly about fun and friendship. Although there might have been a lazy rewrite that was about clubbing originally.
The only club those kids should be at is the Mickey Mouse Club.
Now, at the end of every episode, they do a song and dance number, a la AKB48, featuring these hideous CGI models of the Glitter Force that are right in the center of the Uncanny Valley. You should skip those. Finally, the biggest problem I have with Glitter Force is the blatant inconsistencies in its internal mythology. Early on, it's explained that the Glitter Force has only one super attack per transformation, but halfway through the season, they're busting out multiple super moves. Then there's a part in the second to the last episode where Rascal single-handedly whoops the girls, but the very next episode, Glitter Breeze and Pop take him down all by themselves. Also, they say throughout the series that finding all the glitter charms will revive Queen Euphoria. But when they do, the glitters just go Pretty Princess Super Saiyan. And then there are things that just don't make sense. Like why, if the bad guys have access to buffoons that don't give the kids a new glitter charm if they win, why don't they just use those all the time? Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Glitter Force. On the good side, the main cast is fun and likable, the art style is pretty in a generic way, and the action is above standard for mahou shoujo. But on the downside, Glitter Force is very derivative, and its weak world building stops it from being anything special. But if you like this kind of thing, you can give Glitter Force a shot. I give it a 3 out of 5. Now if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find my Facebook and Deviantart pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.